Developmental psychology is a branch of psychology that studies intra and inter-individual changes. Its task is not only description but also explication of age-related changes in behavior in terms of antecedent-consequent relationships. Developmental psychologists study developmental changes covering the lifespan from conception to death. By so doing, it is an attempt to give a complete picture of growth and decline. Developmental psychology focuses on development across lifespan. The word development is concerned with more or less predictable changes in behavior which is closely associated with increasing age. What is the difference between nature and nurture? Nature, it is a behavior which unfolds like a plant over time, and nurture is nothing but the behavior which is molded by experiences. Now, the life of a human being is always closely associated with nature. Now, like how the seed grows into a sapling and finally into a tree, you can link it with the human developmental stages. The first one, which is the seed, can be closely associated with the childhood. The second one, the sapling, it can be related with adolescence. And the third one, which is the tree, it refers to the adulthood and old age. By seeing this picture, what idea comes to your mind? The three people whom we see in the diagram refers to the three stages of human development. The first stage is the childhood. The second stage is the adolescent age. The third one is the adulthood. When a child sees the diagram, it is a plaything for him. The child will consider it as a toy, something which the child can play with it. The second stage, for the adolescent age, the person will consider it, will start to explore, will start to think from a different perspective. When compared to the childhood age, there will be a maturity in the person's thinking level. When it comes to the adulthood, the person would have experienced the life. The person could have gained life's experiences. So the person will come to know, the person will analyze it from a mature point of level, and he will have a different perspective. There are main basic processes of development. The first one is maturation, which consists of the biological process of systematic physical growth, and where experience plays a role in specific contexts. And McGraw's study tells this is the age where we can train the children in certain skills, because the child will easily grasp and learn things fastly when compared to the adulthood or the adolescence age. As age grows, we can normally see that the grasping level, the learning capacity, it slowly deteriorates. So the childhood age is the apt age for anyone to train the child. The graph shown here, it shows the success percentage of children learning things. When there is just a 1-year-old child, you will find there will be a growth in the success percentage. As the child grows, there will be a decline in the percentage of grasping things. Early experiences and critical periods. Imprinting, which is called as the inborn tendency or the instinct. The second one is the sensitive period, which is also called as critical period. The early social deprivation is considered as the Harlow's monkeys, social isolation and continuing detrimental effects. Controversy over effects on children. Some abnormal effects may be irreversible. Variations in development. It is normal for children to be variable in their development. Because of the discontinuities in development, it is something which is unpredictable. You cannot evade that completely. Parents make important decisions about raising children that impacts on development, like raising a deaf child or the impact of technology and medicine where the child has to be given extra care. The parents have to take much concentration on the growth of such abnormal children. Stage theories of development. The stages are a series of abrupt changes from one period to another. All children must pass through in same order. Many advocate unfolds over time, more qualitative than quantitative, such as children mastering physical properties of objects. Decentered thought, which allows some conservation problem solutions. Piaget's developmental theory. It was Piaget who identified 4 stages of cognitive development. The first one is sensory motor stage, which is nothing but the infant experiences world in sensory information and motor activities. The next stage is the pre-operational stage, where children sometimes think illogically by adult standards. Concrete operational stage, which is a stage of increased abilities. The last one is the formal operational stage, which uses full. Now this slide, it explains the 4 theories, the 4 stages of developmental theory of Piaget. The first one, which we already discussed, the sensory motor theory. It starts from the right of the birth, day 1 till 2 years, where the child makes use of the senses and motor skills and items which the child knows by use, which is called as object permanence. The second stage, the pre-operational stage, it takes place between 2 to 7 years, where the child thinks symbolically, the child tries to speak, it tries to make use of the language, the egocentric thinking. The egocentric thinking is nothing but the child focuses more on the I. Child gives importance to itself. The child tries to attract attention. The next one is imagination, and the child tries to imagine that it has grown old, and it tries to resemble or it tries to imitate the elders in the family. The next stage is the concrete operational, which is between 7 to 11 years, where the theory makes use of the logic, it applies logic, the objective and rational interpretations, conservation, numbers, ideas and classifications. And the last one, which is the formal operational, which takes place from 11 years until the old age, where it starts to think abstractly, hypothetical ideas, ethics, politics, social and moral issues are explored. Kohlberg's theory. This theory gives much importance to the moral development. Now, in this theory, it is classified into 3-level and 6-stage theory. The first one is the pre-moral level, where the child has no sense of morality as adults understand it. The second one, the child's moral view, it is based on what others think, until the highest level of development creates independent thinking. The next one is the moral development, where is the Gilligan critical of Kohlberg's research results, where she had her own theory. The first one is morality as individual survival. The second one as morality as self-sacrifice. The third one, morality as equality. Now, this slide, it explains the 6 stages of a human being. The first one is pre-conventional moral reasoning, which is level 1, and where it is a stage 1, which thinks might makes right. Punishment, obedience, orientation, self-interest, all these plays a major role because this is the basic foundation of a child growth. And the second one, the second stage, you have look out for number 1. It is instrumental, relativist orientation and quid pro quo. Second one is the level 2, where it is called as conventional moral reasoning. Under this level 2, the stage 3 and 4 comes. The stage 3 gives importance to appreciations. The child likes to be appreciated as a good girl or nice boy, which the child tries to behave properly for the social approval. The stage 4, law and order, where the parents try or the elders in the family try to impose certain rules, concentrating on the proper behavior of the child and to obey laws. The last stage is this level 3, where it comes under stage 5 and 6, and this level 3 is called as post-conventional moral reasoning. And under stage 5, we have social contract, which is a mutual benefit to all, obey society's rules. And stage 6, we have what is called as these universal ethical principles, where we try to defend right and wrong, not just majority. All life is sacred. We are trying to be more judgmental. Development across the lifespan. Erickson's psychosocial theory, which focuses on the individual's developing relationships with others in social world. The 8 stages where development continues over the lifespan. In this theory, you will find all the 8 stages of a human development. And crisis, there are certain ups and downs, there are certain critical conditions under each stage. So this theory focuses on all these crises at all these 8 stages which a human being definitely comes across this life. Erickson's psychosocial theory. The first stage is trust versus mistrust. The second one, autonomy versus shame and doubt. The third one, initiative versus guilt. The fourth stage, industry versus inferiority. The fifth one, identity versus role confusion. Sixth one, intimacy versus isolation. Seventh, generativity versus stagnation. And the last, the 8th stage, is integrity versus despair. Average ages at which stage changes in development takes place portray pattern of age-related changes. The first one is the neonatal period, the second one is infancy, third is early childhood, fourth middle childhood, fifth adolescence, and the last stage is the adulthood. Development and in infancy and childhood. The first one is the neonatal period, which lasts for the first 2 weeks of life, which marks a transition from womb to independence. Right from the day of the birth till the umbilical cord is cut, it is called as the neonatal period, which reflexively grasps anything placed in hand, which is also called as the rooting reflex. Infancy. This period starts from week 2 until 2 years of the child. This is the stage where the child faces a rapid physical growth, perpetual growth, cognitive, linguistic, social and emotional growth. During the sensory motor stage, the infant stares at interesting visual stimuli. It likes to see human faces. It starts to laugh seeing at the human faces. Infancy. Under this, we have 2 developmental stages, the physical and the cognitive development. The cognitive development is nothing but the objective permanence and the telegraphic speech are given importance during this cognitive developmental stage. Then Rathika's studies of memory. Now, this Rathika, when he tested the infants, his studies revealed that the memory of young infants, we always think that young infants don't know anything, but it is really amazing to find that these young infants have an amazing memory. They, compared to the adults, compared to the other stages of human life, this memory stage, this memory of the young infants is really amazing. The infancy. In this, you find two main developmental stages, the emotional and social developmental stages, where visual cliff and depth perception are given more importance. The child starts giving importance to the outside world. As a result, you can find that a strong attachments are formed between infants and caregivers. The child also has certain anxieties and fear. One is the separation anxiety. The child always wants someone close to it. The next is fear of strangers. Other than others at home, the people at home, the child is afraid to face other strangers. Gibson and Bock, both of them, they tested this visual clip infant depth perception. They just left a child and they just wanted to test whether the child is able to see and come towards the people. And they found that the child was able to see people, able to visualize people and come towards the people. Early childhood. In this stage, the growth is less explosive and rapid than when compared to infancy. And this early childhood, which starts from 2 years and it lasts up to 7 years. And you find the cognitive development, which was little rapid when the child was an infant, you can find it is just slowing down. You find the children in pre-operational stage, they show egocentric thought. They give importance to I. They long for appreciation. And animism and transductive reasoning is more commonly found during this stage. Emotional and social development. Most notable changes in peer relationships and types of play. Now, the child starts giving more importance to friends when compared to the parents. The parents move to the secondary stage to them. The parents are no longer given importance. And you can find the child during this stage, it classifies the play into 3 types. The first one is solitary play, the second one parallel play, and the third one is cooperative play. In this solitary play, the child plays all alone by itself. It doesn't want company to play. The second stage is the stage where the child wants to play along with the friends. The child gives more importance to friendship. Third one is the stage called as parallel play, where the child wants to be in company, but the child does not want to mingle with the friends and play. Middle childhood lasts from 7 to 11 years of age, which is characterized by slow physical growth. The child till 7 years, you can see the child fastly growing. When it comes to 7 to 11 years, there will be a slope in the developmental growth. You can see the physical growth of the child is not so rapid as it was until the 6th year. It gives important that in this stage you can find that some basic important cognitive changes occur. Conservation and reservability. The child decenters. Until this stage, the child always wanted to be in the company, either with the company of friends or with the parents. But now, the child longs to be independent. The child allows conservation, problems to be solved. It creates the problems and it tries to solve the problems all alone by itself. It learns some matters, changes shape but not volume. Emotional and social development, where the child enters with close ties to parents. Peer relationships become increasingly important. Friendships are more important, and the friendships which will last longer. Cliques or groups are formed, mostly of the same sex. Terms like boyfriend and girlfriend have little meaning at this stage. Adolescent development. In this stage, you can see there will be some physical changes in the physical body of the child. You can find there will be an heightened sexual and romantic interest. Peers will become more important than parents, and you will find the child is capable of abstract reasoning. Ponders where it ponders about abstract issues like justice or equality. No clear-cut end to adolescence in society. The child will not be able to find answers which satisfies the child. Physical development. Now in this stage there will be bodily changes will occur during this stage. Now the primary sex characters and secondary sex characters appear for both girl children as well as boy children. Adolescent stage, the cognitive developmental stage. In this stage, you will find the formal operations enter, where the child is able to use abstract concepts. It is able to shift to stage varies among individuals. Some never reach this stage. Others reach it in an early adulthood. Here we find Piaget. He tries to make a test with the height and weight of the child comparatively in comparison with the age. Now a 4-year-old child will weigh 5 kilos. A 7-year-old child will have the same weight like the 4-year-old child. It will be the same 5 kgs. When it comes to 10 years, there will be a shift from 5 to 10 kgs. When it is 14 years, you can find there will be a slight variation. From 10 it will come as 12 or sometimes even 18. Adolescent egocentrism. Here you have the imaginary audience. The child will imagine that everyone is watching. The child is much bothered about the outside society. Then the child will start to concentrate more on the physical self. The child will believe that he or she is unique. The child's behaviors or characteristics will change in such a way that the child wants to give importance to her own self. The next one is hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is nothing but the child starts to, during this adolescent age, the child starts to believe that whatever the child does is right. What others tell is extremely wrong. That is called as hypocrisy. The last one is pseudo-stupidity, where the child tries to make use of oversimplified logic and tries to justify. The next one is the social development, where it is a time of drifting or breaking away from the family. Emotional development. According to G. Stanley Hall, it is a time of storm and stress. Most adolescents, they are happy, they become well adjusted with the family and the environment, and they have a contented and happy life. Almost all adults come across these problems. The first one is parent-child conflicts. The parents will try to convince, or the parents will always want the children to obey them. When the children start to obey, the parents will start to worry, and they will try to compel or force the child to listen to them. As a result, there will be a conflict between the parent-child. The next one is mood changes, which is related to self-conscious, awkward, lonely, ignored. In spite of being in a family, during this stage, the parents, they will feel there will be a variation or a fluctuation in their mood. In spite of being with the family, they will feel left out. They will feel all alone. The last one is the risky behavior, which is the aggression, unprotected sex, suicide, use of substances or alcohol. They become drug addicts during this stage. Adulthood. Young adulthood through older adulthood. Now, what is the difference between this young adulthood and older adulthood? Young adulthood is nothing but, it is also called as the middle age. Older adulthood, it is nothing but the old age. Now, developmental changes continue throughout adulthood. It is not just a single phase of life. Taking on adult responsibilities in work and social relationships, and young adults have to face many challenges outside the society, like love, work, play, continue challenging. All these continue to change. They never remain constant. Physical development, growth and strength in early adulthood, which is a slow process. And here we can find there will be a decline in this growth and strength, and they will start having some health ailments. Speed and endurance, vision and ability to see in weak lighting, hearing and detection of tones, taste, which was intact until the early adulthood. You can find that when compared to women, men soon lose this tendency of tasting. They don't have these taste buds to men. It seems to lose. The survey has revealed that when compared to women, the tendency of taste buds, it will soon come to an end in men. Then decline affected by health and lifestyle. Due to the lifestyle in the middle age, you can find people are getting more sick. Cognitive development continues throughout adulthood. Some abilities improve while others decline. Fluid intelligence peaks in 20s, declines thereafter. Crystallized intelligence, it improves until 30, then later declines. Overall, individual rates vary depending on lifestyle and health. Emotional and social development. Many aspects of personality are fairly stable over time, and changes are predictable. On average, adults become less anxious and emotional, social, outgoing, and creativity, it becomes slowly invisible. People become more dependable, agreeable, and accepting life's hardships becomes difficult to them. Gender differences lessen over the time. Much disagreement about when and how changes occur during aging, differences between stages of infant or child development and adult development. Not all adults go through every stage. Orders of stages will vary from individual to individual. Timing of stages are not controlled by biological maturation. Stages of adult life. The first one is the early adulthood, which is called as intimacy versus isolation, from 17 to 45 years. Now, Levinson, he has divided the early adulthood into 3 stages. The first one is early adulthood, so from 17 to 28, transition period from age 28 to 33, then culmination of early adulthood until 40 years, then where more challenges of career, marriage and parenthood you see all during the period of early adulthood. Middle adulthood, generativity versus stagnation, from 40 years until 65 years. Taking stock of what one has, who or she is. When they have a review, when they have a flashback, some of them are happy. They feel that they have lived a happy, contented life. They have done something meaningful in life, whereas some are disappointed. This becomes a self-analysis. This becomes a period of self-analysis. Generativity, reaching out and not self-centered. The self-orientation, more focus on I, loses importance here. Middle adulthood, Levinson has classified this under 4 brief stages. First one is midlife transition, which occurs during early 40s. The second one, entry to the middle adulthood stage, 45 to 50 years. From 50 it is called as the transition period, and the last one is the culmination of middle adulthood. Climactic, female sexual ability to reproduce declines. Not all adult development, timed by social clock rather than biological clock. From 65 years, Erickson has called it as integrity versus despair. Looks back over life as a whole, satisfying existence or merely staying alive. Levinson devotes little to later years. Life expectancy dramatically increases as there are many conceptions of old age. Many have healthy years after retirement. Second careers and activisms are launched during this period. Evaluating stage theories. The first one is gender differences, which focuses more on men. The second one is cultural differences and historical change, where a few cultural comparative studies are done. Next is inconsistent evidence, questions about idea of stage theories, mid-course correction, not midlife crisis. Predicted changes do not occur at ages indicated. Causes of aging. Due to these biological reasons, the human body starts to deteriorate, and there is also a psychological change, and this psychological change and the biological change lead to happy or unhappy aging, social activity and slowed intellectual decline or disengagement and isolation, maintain a healthy or unhealthy lifestyle, optimism linked to happier, healthier, longer life. Death and dying, which is the final stage. Now, Kubler-Ross has segregated this final stage into 5 stages. The first stage is the denial, second one is anger, third bargaining, fourth depression, and the last one is the acceptance. Application of psychology, parenting. Parents play a key role in the lives of children. parenting and infant attachment, parenting and discipline style, effects in child rearing, two-way street. Now what do you mean by this two-way street? Now this two-way street is nothing but the parents, they turn out either to be authoritative or affirmative. The parents who are very authoritative, they try to impose too many rules to children. And the children, because of their age, they try to disobey the parents. Now common discipline mistakes like lax parenting, verbosity, overreactivity and reinforcement of inappropriate behavior. Socio-cultural factors in parenting, myth of the perfect parent, daycare, divorce and parenting. Baumrind, he has classified the parenting styles under three. The first one is authoritarian parents, the second one is permissive parents, the third one is authoritative parents. And he has given 5 styles of parenting. The first one is the warmth, second one is discipline, third one expected maturity, fourth communication between parent and children, the last one is also a communication between child and parent. Now in the authoritative parent, you find the warmth style between an authoritative parent and a permissive parent will be high, whereas in an authoritarian parent, because the parenting style is so strict, the warmth will be low. Discipline, you find in an authoritarian parent it is strict, whereas in the parenting style of a permissive or an authoritative parent, in the permissive parenting style it will be rare, and in an authoritative parenting style it will be moderate. Then expected maturity, in an authoritarian parent it will be high, permissive low, whereas in an authoritative parent it will be moderate. Communication between parent and child, the parents will demand more to children in an authoritarian parent, so it will always be high. In a permissive parenting style it will be low, and an authoritative parenting style it will be high. And communication between children and parents, in an authoritarian parent style, the children will normally be afraid to speak to parents, so it will always, the communication between the child and the parent will always be high. It will always be low, whereas in a permissive and authoritative parent it will be high. Now all these slides, in all these screens you saw the continuous developmental stages of a human being. The development of a human being starts from day one, and many scientific studies reveal that even when a child is inside the mother's womb, development begins there. Until the child dies, the last day of the lifespan, you can find every day is a developmental stage. Now we have come to the end of this screen, and maybe we can ask a few questions to test your understanding.